This meeting is being recorded. So given the fact that we have not done election of officers, we have invited Anthony Hood to conduct our officer election. So I will turn it over to Anthony.
Okay, thank you, ANC. Let me first of all say Happy New Year to ANC 5A. We won't get right to the election. I know others have other obligations, so we want to get through this as fast as possible. The rules of the day, we're going to be electing the chair, vice chair, the secretary, and the treasurer of ANC 5A. Normally, I ask for a nomination and I ask for a second, but in this case, unless I hear from our director from the ANC office, otherwise, I'm just going to get a nomination and then I'm going to close it on the set. Once we get to enough said nominations on a particular office, we'll close it there and move to the next office and move to the next office and then move to the next office. Those are the rules of the day. Any objections?
Nope.
Okay, I believe we have 5 ANC commissioners, or 5 in total.
5 in total.
Okay.
Elected.
Okay. All right. So let me open this up to the commissioners only. All those who any nominations for the office of chair of ANC 5A?
I'd like to nominate Emily.
Okay.
I accept the
Commissioner
nomination.
Lucio. Okay. Any additional nominations? Okay. I'm not hearing it. I'm gonna close on the one name. We have Commissioner Lucio. Since we have one name, let me just move to any nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Tim Thomas for vice chair.
Okay. Any additional nominations for vice chair? I'm going to close it nominations for vice chair. One name, Tim Thomas. Since we have one name, we're going to keep moving. Secretary.
I nominate Emily Singalucio for secretary.
Okay. Any additional nominations for secretary? Okay, we're going to close on the said name, Commissioner Lucio. Next, treasurer. Any nominations for treasurer?
I nominate Shayla Bakum for treasurer.
I second nominate.
Okay, Ms. McCoon for treasurer. Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, I'm gonna close that on the said nominations. So since that, can I get a motion for acclamation? Because we have one candidate for each office, which is good. We have chair, Commissioner Lucio, vice chair, Commissioner Thomas, secretary, Commissioner Lucio, and treasurer, Commissioner Bakum. Can I get a motion to accept that as the offices for, I think it's 1 year.
I move that we accept the slate as presented for 1 year.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor, show by raise of hands.
Aye.
Aye.
I think I see everybody. And let the vote show that it's, the vote can be recorded as 4-0 to 1, and 1 being absent. All right, so if you can, you turn your cameras on. Let me swear you in right quick.
Okay.
Raise your right hand if you would.
Okay.
I'm going to say aye, and then you state your name. Aye.
Shayla Bakum.
Lucio.
Swear or affirm
Swear or
Affirm.
that I,
That
That
I,
Aye.
having been elected to serve
having
have been
been
elected to serve
as an officer of ANC 5A,
as an
officer
of
ANC
ANC 5A,
5A,
will faithfully carry out
will
faithfully carry out
the duties and responsibilities
the duties and responsibilities
to the best of my ability
to the
to the best of my ability.
of the office which I now enter.
With the offices which I now enter.
Congratulations. We're looking forward to great work coming out of ANC 5A. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, thank you so much. And I look forward to serving all of you and working with all of you collectively. So if we can move forward, that would be great. So commissioners, you were sent in advance of the meeting the agenda. I just want to make sure you all have it. I want to just also mention, I'm taking minutes as we speak, so just give me a minute. Okay, that we have 4 vacancies in this ANC, ANC 5A01, ANC 5A04, ANC 5A05, and ANC 5A07. We have had 2 people reach out about 5A04 and 5A05. So if you know of anybody, if anybody in the community is interested in representing those ANCs, feel free to reach out to me, or the Board of Election, or the Board of Elections or the Office of ANC, and then someone can share with you, the process for adding yourself as a potential, ANC commissioner. Okay, all of you have the agenda, so can I get a motion to accept the agenda? And I will paste the agenda in the chat.
I move that we accept the agenda.
Can I get a second, please? Folks, I need a second for the agenda.
I second them.
Thank you. Sometimes Zoom is annoying, so hold on one second. Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Bakum, seconded by Commissioner Alston. Can I get all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Any abstentions? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Okay, commissioners, you were also sent the minutes from the November special meeting of 2024, the minutes from the November 2024 monthly meeting. I do realize that a couple of you were not at those meetings, or you may have been in attendance, but you were not commissioners at the time. So, please remember that you are welcome to vote in favor of if you support the minutes, opposed or abstain if you don't feel comfortable voting. Can I get a motion to approve the November special meeting minutes?
I make the motion to approve the November 2nd meeting.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay,
Are we gonna approve both special meeting and?
yes, individually.
Oh, okay.
Okay, okay. All in favor of those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the special meeting minutes from November 2024?
I make a motion that we approve the special minutes of November 2024.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Bakum and seconded by Commissioner Alston. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I had that backwards. It's been moved by Commissioner Alston and seconded by Commissioner Alston. My apologies. Can I get can I get a vote on that, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed and abstain. Okay, motion approved unanimously. Thank you very much. I believe, okay. Okay. Okay, so commissioners, I wanted to go through a little bit of commission business just so we're aware. Just mostly for informational purposes. For commission business, our meeting announcements are sent out by MailChimp and the website. You all have the ability to post anything on the MailChimp and website. Just let me know and I'm happy to post it, but I just wanted to let you know that. We can also post community notices on the MailChimp. So all of that is available. You are all welcome to conduct single member district meetings as desired. And those meeting notices are also eligible to be posted on the website and MailChimp. So you just need to let me know and I'm happy to post those for you as well. I did want to have a little bit of a discussion tonight about our meeting format. We're missing one commissioner for sure, and then I believe Commissioner Thomas is here, but he might have had to step away momentarily. I know he had a little bit of a conflict tonight. So maybe we'll table that for another night, but I want to just make sure we are having a discussion about how we plan to proceed with our meetings. Currently, for the last 2 years, we've been doing them virtually. Actually 4 years now, we've been doing them virtually. And there are pros and cons to both virtual and in person. But if we do them, and Ken, I'm glad you're on because you can just clarify this question for us. If we do them in person, am I correct that we are required to have an option of hybrid so that people can attend virtually, or is that not a requirement?
It's not a requirement. The
Okay.
commission has a choice of being 100% in person, 100% virtual, or mixing the two and being hybrid.
Okay. Are we allowed to do half and half, like some meetings virtual and some meetings in person?
You are allowed to change the formats from month to month, provided that your meeting notice is compliant with the 7-week requirement and your constituency knows how to attend the meeting.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay, thank you. That's helpful. So commissioners, perhaps we will talk further about that at an executive meeting, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Okay. I mentioned about the website, just so you know, commissioner information is on there. So, we will need, um, um, we will need, everyone's photos if they want them on there, and, any other information, like all of our ANC emails are on there, but if you want anything else on there, let me know. But just be aware that that's, our main source of information. I want to just say thank you to the person who commented in the uh in the chat about virtual options create an opportunity to ensure access. So that is absolutely true. And then the commissioners will discuss the pros and cons of the format. So thank you. We are well aware that virtual adds an opportunity for people who may not be able to leave their homes for various reasons to attend. Also allows it for accessibility in terms of captioning and other things of that nature. Yes, the commissioners will discuss that, and I appreciate the comment. So thank you. Okay. Office space options. So, Commissioner Bakum, do you want to share about the office space options since you've been both and have the keys and all that?
I think there's only one real option, which is the one on Galloway Street. It's at 420 Galloway Street. It's an office that's available for all of us 5A commissioners. And if any one of the commissioners would like a key, I can provide you with a key. So
Shayla, do you know what the current status is of the
the UDC
UDC office?
I don't know. I just know that they've been saying it's going to be renovated. So we haven't
Yeah.
really tried to use it.
Yeah, that's my understanding was the UDC office space, the UDC campus is in the process of being renovated. So we may not have access to that or full access to that. Okay. So commissioners, just to clarify, we do have access to the office space on Galloway, and anybody who wants access, Commissioner Bakum has the keys. Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Commissioner Bakum, I'm going to turn it over to you for the treasurer's report.
Okay. Do you have the
I do.
Okay, thank you so much. So the budget for FY25 was passed by the previous commissioners. And this is what we agreed to.
Closing. Right now.
So we'll be getting approximately 5,000 per quarter as our allotment. And we still have money left over from past years. So we had agreed on $8,000 for communications, $4,000 for office supplies, $10,000 for grants, $500 for local transportation, $10,000 for purchase of service, 100 for bank fees, 400 for other, for a total of 33,000. We don't need to spend all this money. That's just kind of like a upper limit, but we can, if for example, we need to increase, we could, like, let's say we have some grant applications, we could potentially vote to increase that, but for now, we have said, you know, we're setting aside 10,000 for grants. But so these are some of the things that we had agreed to for our budget for this year.
Commissioner McComb, thank you. Can I add one thing real quick?
Mhm.
Just so everyone's aware, since we do have a significant amount of funds in our account, if we determine we are going to want to do a hybrid option, we have some money to spend on equipment to provide that option. Obviously, we would need to find somebody who would manage the hybrid meeting in terms of the equipment. But that is something to think about if we do decide to have an in-person option so that we could do it hybrid.
That sounds like a great idea.
And also under purchase of service, we had agreed to potentially hire a person, which would be, we would basically be going through basically a temp agency, but we have the potential to hire an admin assistant to assist us with our commission duties.
Which is something we did approve in the last commission last year.
But we haven't hired anyone yet.
So Commissioner Bookhoom, are you planning on working on getting that posted and working with a temp agency to do that?
Yes, yes, so I would be looking for a temp agency, ideally based in Ward 5, that would hire admin type folks. So I'll be looking for such agencies. I'll be like, you know, researching. So if anyone knows of any such temp agencies, you can send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat.
Okay, I think I said too at the last meeting that I would also be working on that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so thank you, Commissioner Alston. So the two of you could work together.
Yes.
Please to stay in communication about that, but we do want to make sure it goes through the appropriate channels in terms of the temp agency, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Bookhoom, I believe the next item on the agenda is the security fund.
So there has been a security fund in the past, but there's no longer a security fund needed. It's basically, we just have to have just be set up with the bank. So we need to go and update the names on the bank account. We currently have a bank account at PNC Bank. So we don't have the security fund anymore.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, I know people have been attending these meetings for many years and they're used to hearing about the security fund. And so we didn't want that to slide by without people being aware that it was no longer part of the process. Okay. Next is the bank requirements, I think, which we briefly talked about earlier, but go ahead.
Yes, just that we have to the newly elected ANC people have to go to the bank and update our names on the bank account.
Okay.
So we'll talk line after about scheduling when we're going to meet to do that. Okay.
So Commissioner Bookhoom, I just want to make it official for the record. Since we have one person filling the role of chair and secretary, we will be having, and the bank statement the bank's account requires 3 signatures, and we have gotten this approved through OANC. We will be having the treasurer, the chair, and the vice chair as the signature, or as the signatures on the bank statement, on the bank card, so that we have 3 different people. So I just want to make sure that the community is aware of that, because that's what we opted to do, since we have one person filling 2 roles. And I see former Commissioner Washington shaking her head in approval of that. Thank you, Commissioner Washington. Okay. Commissioner Bookhoom, the next thing is the quarterly financial report, which I also have up. So just give me a second.
Thank you. So quarter one of FY 25 refers to the period of October 1st through December 31st, 2024. And during that period, there was not much in terms of activity on our bank account. We had two allotments, two deposits that came in of allotments. Those were the only transactions that occurred in the past 3 months, or in that period of October through December. So that allotment there represents two allotments. So that's all that happened in the past quarter.
Okay, I
So-
do also want to acknowledge that Commissioner Holloway has now joined the meeting. Welcome, Commissioner Holloway. Okay, so Commissioner Bakun, what would you like us to do?
Okay, can I have a motion to approve this quarterly financial report?
Is there a motion to approve this quarterly financial report? Miss Alston, you're on mute.
Can you hear me? Yes, I make a
Yep.
motion to approve the report.
Thank you, Miss Alston.
Thank you.
I'll second that. Can I, hold on a second. Let me just make sure I'm up to date here.
I can second. Tim Thomas.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's helpful. Okay, commissioners, you've heard the motion. Can I get a motion to approve? A motion was made by Commissioner Alston, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then Commissioner Bakun, the next thing was business cards, phones, and keys. Just for
Okay, yeah,
information.
just if commissioners are interested in getting business cards, phones, or keys to the office, just let me know, and I will work on that for you.
Commissioner McComb, if I can just add,
Yes.
if people choose to get business cards, there is sort of a template that can be used. And we do have, I think we have a company we've used before. People are welcome to do that independently, or Commissioner Bakun can assist with that. Is that correct, Commissioner Bakun?
Oh, and also, we usually have just been using our own phones. I think it's way easier, but if for some reason you need a separate phone, we can accommodate that.
Well, Commissioner Bakun, there are issues with using your own phone. I do want to be clear on that. There are privacy issues and FOIA issues with using your own phone. So if you do choose to use your own phone, what I would recommend is that you do, if you have you use the second phone number Google option. So you can do that, or Commissioner Bakun can get you a phone. But so if you're interested in getting a separate phone, please let Commissioner Bakun know that. But just be aware, if you choose to use your own personal number, there are issues with the with privacy and FOIA. And so it's not typically recommended that you use your own phone, but there's nothing that would stop you from doing that. And in terms of the keys, anybody who needs keys or would like keys to the office, Commissioner Bakun is working on a form for everyone to sign for liability in terms of if you lose the key and access to the key and all that. So Commissioner Bakun is working on that, and we'll have that for people to sign when they get the keys, if they would like a key. Okay, Commissioner Bakun, anything else regarding any of that?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, thank you. So finally, commissioners, my final update here, and then I actually have one other thing I'm going to add to the agenda, well, I'll get to that in a second, is the calendar. So typically we meet the fourth Wednesday of every month, with the exception of July, August, and December. In November, we often run up against Thanksgiving. So the fourth Wednesday is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So in the past, we have either moved the meeting a week before or a week after. So either either the third week in November or the first week in December. So commissioners, what would you like to do this year with setting the calendar? And I get hands raised, so not everyone's speaking at once. And you can use the hand raise feature on Zoom if you can. Commissioner Bakum.
I would prefer that we meet the first Wednesday in December if we have to move the meeting because of Thanksgiving. Since we're not going to be meeting in December otherwise, I think it would make more sense to do that.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Alston.
I think, can we just table that for now so everybody can check their calendars to make sure that they're available and they don't have to work, anything like that?
Well, we typically set the whole calendar and post it for the whole year so that and set the meetings.
At this meeting, this is what you,
Yes.
okay, let's do December.
Okay, Commissioner Thomas, do you have an opinion on this?
No problem with that. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Holloway, do you have do you have an opinion on this?
I have no issue with it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Holloway. Okay, so commissioners, can I get a motion to approve the calendar for 2025, being that we meet the fourth week of the month, January, February, March, April, May, June, September, October, then the first week in December. Can I get a motion to approve that calendar, please?
We approved the calendar.
I second.
Okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay. Community updates. Anthony Black, I saw that you were on the call earlier. Are you still here?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. First and foremost, I want to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Definitely want to congratulate our re-elected and our newly elected ANC commissioners. I totally understand how difficult this job can be sometimes, and I just want to make sure you guys know that you always have an extended arm from the executive office of the mayor. Just a few quick updates. DC Health Link, their open enrollment ends January 31st, 2025. So if you know anyone that currently needs health insurance, please have them reach out before the 31st so they can enroll for those health benefits. Missed trash collection. If there are any missed trash collection throughout the community, please feel free to forward those concerns to your ANC commissioner, or you can reach out to me directly. I will drop my information in the chat, as well as our liaison, Christian Stargell, her information as well. Real quick, the MOCA's office stands for Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services. We are just an extended arm between the community and government. But if there are any pressing needs and issues, please feel free to reach out. Our ward days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And those are just days that I encourage residents, commissioners to reach out. Those are days in which we can get out, put our eyes on issues and concerns, and do what we can to address those in real time. That's pretty much it on my end, but I'm definitely open for questions and concerns.
Thank you, Anthony. For our new commissioners, Anthony, can you just explain about ward days, and how if somebody was interested, how that would work?
Absolutely. So ward days are just those are days in which we're in the community. We will come to whatever the location is that you want us to come to. We will conduct a walk with you, or without you, if that's what's needed. But those are days that we come out, we do what we can to address those issues and concerns in real time when we can, and try to expedite the ones that we can't address in real time.
Thank you, Anthony. Okay, any questions for Anthony while we've got him on the call? From
What were the
commissioners?
what were the
Let's start with
ward days?
commissioners? I'm sorry, can we raise hands, please?
What were the
Sorry.
days? What were the days again that you said?
Those are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Commissioner Bacum.
Thank you.
Anthony, there's in the chat, someone commented there hasn't been trash pickup behind Ural Place Northeast for 2 weeks.
Mava, is there 100? If they can just drop the 100 blocks of that, I will definitely get on that as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you. Any other commissioners have questions for Anthony? Any residents have questions for Anthony? Former Commissioner Washington.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the new commissioners within 5A. I just want to say thank you to Anthony Black for how he came out and helped and assist the residents in my block or in our neighborhood with the snow when we didn't have enough individuals to come out and do so. So I just want to applaud you and thank you, Anthony, for doing so.
Of course, Ms. Washington, you know, it's truly not a problem at all.
Thank you, Commissioner Washington. You know, Anthony, that's a good point she raised. That reminded me of something. I think a lot of residents aren't clear on some of the snow removal policies. The time frame that snow has to be removed, the fact that people are responsible for removing it in front of their property, and what happens with the alleys. Could you talk a little bit about that so people have a clear understanding?
So in regards to snow removal, residents are definitely are responsible for the portion of property in front of their property, also as well as in back of their property. Now, in the most dire needs, DPW will make an attempt to plow the alleys if it gets to a point where they have to, but they encourage all residents to shovel that portion of their property as well.
And isn't that supposed to be within 6 to 10 hours after the snow stops? Is that right?
Yes, 6 to 10 hours after the snow stops. Also, for our seniors, we have a senior program that will assist the seniors through our volunteers that come out and will shovel the snow. They have to, and that's through Serve DC. They would have to apply for that service. But in the event that volunteers can't get to a resident's home, then I'll come out, put my boots on, shovel, and we'll get it done. Bring some salt out, things of that nature. So in regards to snow, I mean, if there's ever any issues, any concerns, I definitely encourage the residents just to reach out, let me know, and we can work through it.
Thank you, Anthony. You're a jack of all trades. I'm going to go to Deb first, since she had her hand up first.
Good evening. Thank you. And Anthony answered part of my question. I just need some clarification with regard to the alley.
Yes, ma'am.
Living on South Dakota Avenue, which is obviously a main road and no parking. We all park in the back. And so are we expected to clear the alley ourselves, or is that something that DPW would do?
So the portion behind your home, directly behind your home, the resident is responsible for
that alley.
Yes, ma'am. Again, DPW will definitely, in the most dire conditions, DPW would definitely bring a plow through, but they definitely encourage all residents, and this is their policy, but they definitely encourage all residents to shovel the immediate back of their property.
I'm just curious as to where we're supposed to shovel it to.
I will so Ms. Deb, I'll definitely get more information regarding their policies. And I'll forward them over. I can definitely forward them over to you.
We would certainly appreciate it, because when they come through the street, they block the end of the alley, so you can't even get out. So.
Okay.
Appreciated any clarification. Thank you.
Of course. Of course.
Former Commissioner Washington.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what she's saying, Anthony. When you have seniors who have parking in the back of their homes and the alley is ice, and seniors of 65 and older are supposed to have someone to come plow, am I correct, or move it? So that would be one situation where if it's their senior and there's snow or ice behind their home, they wouldn't be the ones that's going to go and get that ice or snow up. Am I correct?
Absolutely. No,
Okay.
you're absolutely correct.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying. So I don't know if Deb is speaking of that, but I know a lot of over here in Fort Totten are seniors that park in the back because they can't get handicap in the front because you have a space in the back. So that would be a concern for me when it comes to a heavy snow, especially like the last one we just had.
No, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and again, I will definitely follow up just to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. But I'll get that information over, and I'll forward that over to the commissioners as well as the community.
Great. Thank you.
Is it possible to ask another question? I'm not sure how to raise my hand here. I'm looking for the raise hand.
Go ahead.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anthony, for sharing this insight. If we know of a senior on our block and maybe they're not as tech savvy, how can we connect them with the services as it relates to the snow, as well as any concerns with getting their trash to the curb? We do have people who are impaired who may not be able to take the trash to the curb as well.
You can always go through the 311. You can always call 311 and go through that. Or you can also reach out to Christian Stargent, who is the Ward 5 liaison, or myself. And I'm about to add our information to the chat so that everyone can have it. But we can definitely direct that traffic to make sure that the residents are getting necessary treatment as they need.
I also put in the chat the link to the shovel exemption. So if you have seniors in your single member district, commissioners who have not applied for the shovel exemption, I've put the link in the chat for you to share with them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Thank you for putting the information. Okay, anything else, Anthony, from your office?
Nothing else from my office, Commissioner Lucio.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, I know we had the council member's office represented. He had to step away. Is he returned yet? Is there representation from the council member's office? Councilmember Parker's office. Okay, well, we will continue on and hopefully he'll jump back on. So we are at community comment period. So members of the community, are there issues you would like us to address or look into that we need to discuss today? And please use the raise hand feature so that we're not all talking at once. Thank you, Bill. Good. How are you this evening?
Hello, I'm good. How can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you? Happy New Year.
Okay, same to you. One of my neighbor, once upon a time, now I haven't seen it lately, but once upon a time, regarding the dumpster pickup, weekly pickup for a senior citizen or handicapped person, For years, there was one of my neighbors used to get, the truck would pull up and they would walk into the yard and go get the dumpster, empty it and put it back. Now, I don't know if that service is still available or not, but I just throw that out there. I have a question, mainly for Commissioner Thomas. About 3 or 4 months ago, you came to the ANC to request some assistance with a liquor license for some establishment in your area. And I just like an update. What happened to that particular item? Mr. Thomas?
Commissioner
Hello?
Thomas. Um,
Or maybe he's gone.
so Bill, he may have had to step away for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
There has to be, and the 90 days has come and gone. There's 2 more people who supposed to testify, and this date, there has not been another date set regarding the restaurant.
Would you say it again? We're kind of breaking up.
Beg your pardon?
Could you say that again? You were breaking up.
Okay, yeah, I'm out right now. As I was saying earlier, there's 2 more people have to testify at the hearing, and it's supposed to be done in 90 days. And 90 days has come and gone, and the ABC has not scheduled another date as we speak.
Okay, thank you.
You're more than welcome, sir.
So Commissioner Thomas, so the 90-day period has come and gone, and there's been no hearing rescheduled, correct?
Yeah, so far, yeah, nothing.
Okay.
90 day, I mean, it should have been in November. Here it is January. So we don't know. I'm going to go to ABC one day next week and just find out what's going on with that. And by the way, that's not in 5A, it's in 5B. It's just across the street from us. So
Yep. So you're within the 200 feet. Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Other community comments.
Chair Lucille, this is Anthony Hood again. Could you just cite again for all of us what ANCs are open or vacant?
Yes, absolutely. So I can share that ANC 5A01, 5A04, which is Catholic University. 5A01 is up by Riggs Park, up by the back of UDC. 5A04 is Catholic University. 5A05 is up off of Harewood Road by Yu Ying and the Washington Latin School. And 5A07 is up towards 1 Hawaii Avenue, I believe. So those are the ones that are missing ANC commissioners, and it has been posted. Those vacancies have been posted, and so if anybody's interested, again, they can reach out to me.
Thank
Anthony,
you.
does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Deb.
Excuse me, yes. Are there any updates with regard to the strip mall, either McDonald's or the marijuana pharmacy that was seeking to establish a place next to, where the old cleaners was?
Those are both in Commissioner Alston's SMD. Commissioner Alston, if you'd like, I can do the McDonald's one unless you'd prefer, and then let you do the marijuana dispensary since you've been in contact with them.
I can do the McDonald's.
Great. Go ahead, please.
The McDonald's is due to close on February 15th. They have put some flyers in the McDonald's that they're supposed to be handing out to people as they come in to be served. They're closing on the 15th because they haven't gotten all of their permits approved right now, but they need to close in order to clean up the facilities and move equipment. So when they do get the permits, they will be able to start right away.
So just to clarify, they were supposed to close in January, right? But you're saying because they haven't been able to get the permits, they had to push it back to February. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Still waiting on the update as far as the seating is concerned.
And also, Miss Alston, just to clarify, correct me if I'm wrong, but they will be sending us a notice that we will be of the closure and the project update that we will be able to share with the community.
Yes, they are supposed to have flyers available stating the date that they're closing.
Right.
And I went around there today. I did not see them, but they sent me an email, said that they're there. So they probably have them available, but hopefully this week.
That we're supposed to also have an electronic copy to send electronically to the
Yes.
community. Okay, thank you. And the
And,
marijuana,
and when they begin to move the equipment out of there, is that the first step?
First step, I believe they're going to clean the place up, and then they're going to move the equipment around or out.
Mr. Alston, there's a question in the chat as well. I don't know if you see it, but the question is, are you referring to the permits to raise the property?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they will have that all fenced off. I'm a 200 footer, so that's why I'm asking these questions.
Is that correct, Commissioner
Yes.
Alston? Okay.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And the equipment, the heavy equipment will all be within their property?
I understand what you're saying.
If they're going to be raising the building, any heavy equipment that would be necessary, will it all be housed within their property?
And
not on Decatur Street.
No, it should not be a house on Decatur Street.
Or Delafield. I'm sorry, I'm referring to Delafield, not Decatur.
Delafield, no.
But we'll confirm that and make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and the marijuana dispensary, Ms. Alston.
The marijuana dispensary, I have reached out to the owners who are planning on trying to open that establishment. I'm just like new on that, and they have not reached out to me. So I'm waiting on a response.
Okay, and so once you have an update, you'll let us know.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Other questions from the community?
Yes.
Good evening, Miss Brown. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm sorry you can't see my hand raised. I have a brown hand on the upper left hand.
Oh, I do see it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I saw in the chat that there was a woman, Erica Evans, who raised the issue, which meets the purpose for my joining the call tonight. And thank you all for making me feel welcome. It was interesting to watch how you manage. I'm interested in the issue of the traffic backup that occurs on our block. I live on Urell Place between the new extension of Yang and the old. And I want to tell you that you have very few neighbors on that street that are real happy about what has happened with the parking situation. We applied and received the stickers to designate the area 4 or 5 to be a decal situation. But again, the hours are just 2 hours that they can park. Many of us are older. I'm one of your elderlies that lives there, have been for the last 20 years. But a portion of it is having folks to come and park all day long. I work still, even as an old woman, and coming home from work and not being able to find a space has been problematic. The implementation for the signage has not yet taken place with ticketing, but for those who are not aware of it, it will start soon. It's a little bit difficult to bring your groceries to your home when there's not one space on the street that's available to you because there's an event or there is a desire to be in certain spots on the street, regardless of the fact that it's right in front of your own house. And I'm hoping that there will be some mindfulness for actually recognizing the signage that is up and not violating the restrictions that are there. I don't know exactly how many of you are aware that there's a parking restriction on the block now. But I wanted to come to the meeting tonight to give a heads up to those that don't. It's pretty annoying, and I understand that there was a meeting with a group that approached you, Commissioner Lucio, is that your last name? I've never attended one of your meetings before, so I'm becoming familiar with your faces and your names. But there was no outreach to those of us that actually live on Urell Place between the new division behind the ballet, old ballet academy, and Yuying, the old building that is there. So perhaps you will share that with some of your constituents as we move along, that there are signs that are posted, and we're hoping that they will be respected. If anyone has something that they want to share with us that came out of the meeting that they had with you all, I certainly would be interested to know. I understand that there was a caucus of some sort that met with you. Please
No,
enlighten us.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm saying please enlighten me for
Yeah.
one, and I know that there's several others who live on Urell Place that are on this call now, and that's what I've been waiting for the community discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I appreciate that. I do want to share that that meeting was not an ANC meeting. That
Okay.
meeting was a meeting run by Yu Ying. They sent out the invitation. We shared the invitation with the ANC community. So if you're on the ANC email list, so please go onto the website, the ANC 5A website, and you can join the ANC email list, and then you'll get notifications. It's anc5a.org. Commissioner Bakum, if you can put that in the chat, I'd appreciate it.
That would be helpful.
And yes, and then you'll be on our email list. But that meeting was run by Yu Ying, and they did talk about many of these issues. Currently, let me just share this. 5A, I have to look exactly on the map, but 5A045, which is where Yu Ying and Washington Latin are located, do not have commissioner representation. I do, and Jose, I did notice you were in the meeting, so I was going to call on you in a second. But 5A06 is the neighboring single member district, and that is represented by Commissioner Holloway, although I do not see him on the meeting at the moment. But it would be, the notices should be going out to anyone within 200 feet, regardless of whether they are in 5A05 or 5A07. And so that all was the responsibility of Yu Ying. So I'm going to let Jose share about what they've been doing, because he's the representative from Yu Ying, and he will probably share with you how to reach them if there are problems. So Jose, I will give you the floor.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, ma'am. Can you give me your name one more time?
My name is Cleola Brown.
Hi, Ms. Brown. Thank you so much for raising us to this. First and foremost, I want to recognize that you are correct. There are 2-hour parking signs on your block, and we share this at the meeting as well. We have shared specific guidance to our families and our teachers that they are not to park on Urell Place, that it is an RPP block. And I'm out there every day at arrival and dismissal, essentially telling folks, A, to avoid parking in handicap spots, no matter how briefly they're there, but also to recognize that there are 2-hour parking limits. For specifically our staff, we'll share specific decks and guidance that we have sent out, instructing them not to park on Urell Place. For the very reason that you talked about, I know that enforcement from the parking enforcement hasn't taken place just yet, but I can assure you, I have referred that to several of my team members. When I've seen them park there, I've asked them, please don't park there again in the future. I don't remember her name right now, but you have a neighbor who lives on the south side of the street who often puts out flyers on cars, reminding them of that as well. And I said to them, I was like, the residents here have every right to inform you of what they're doing, and I ask that you not park on your own place. On a larger scale, I just wanted to say we did hold a meeting last week. We had sent out flyers and paper of the neighborhood roughly in mid-December, and we sent out another email about on January 9th ahead of that meeting. If you want to put your email in the chat, I also put mine in there as well. If you want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to sit down with you at your convenience if you want to come by the school to learn a little bit more about how you're being impacted so we can make adjustments to mitigate that. I also fully recognize we've had some challenging weeks with the snow, and yesterday there were 4 water main breaks all along First Street, 2 in front of the school, 1 on Victor Place, 1 at Hawaii. That has made for a series of challenging events, and we appreciate your patience, and we're working closely with the ANC. We thank Commissioner Lucio and Commissioner Holloway for being present at the meeting, and I engage regularly with all of our staff from Councilmember Parker's office on these same issues. I look forward to meeting with you and working on this issue so we can meet the standards that the residents deserve on your own place.
Well, Jose, you were breaking up just a bit as you were giving
Sorry about that. I
the
apologize.
information. I appreciate you putting your information in the chat. Let me be really clear that there are those of us on the street who are more than willing to engage in conversation so that we don't have any trouble moving forward. If you will, I'll even give you my telephone number because it's gotten so bad that people are so warm and so heated by the inconvenience that it's caused that we really need to have some dialogue. Yu Ying was not the information that we got that was pulling the meeting together. What we understood from word of mouth, and I give that to you, it was word of mouth, was that it was the ANC that had pulled the body together for the discussion. But regardless of who called the meeting together, all of our mailboxes are open. To be invited to that initial meeting would have really soothed the anger quite a bit so that we would know exactly that there was discussion to alleviate the traffic, one, and to eliminate the excessive parking that was going on. I'll put my information in the box. Thanks for your explanation.
Ms. Brown,
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
I do want to share that by law, we cannot put notices in mailboxes.
Put it on my mat, put it in my flower pot. I don't care where you put it, just so long as we know what's going on our street. Never had this problem for the 20 years that I've lived there. And I really, really want to say that I am so glad that my neighbor T alerted us to the fact that there was a door that was open for attendance at this meeting, at least to be heard, that there was an item on the agenda that allowed for community engagement. So thank you, T. I appreciate your forthright pushing the rest of us, and the rest of us will be dialoguing more often on our street to make sure that there's clarity in what's happening. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for allowing me to speak. And Jose, I'm about to put that information into the chat right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. And T, I saw you had your hand raised and you had put a comment in the chat, so I'm going to turn it over to you next.
Okay, so thanks for this opportunity to just kind of ask a couple of questions. First and foremost, there's a conversation about a dispensary and McDonald's, and I know that I'm coming into conversations midstream. I'm sure those discussions took place in previous meetings. But what does the solicitation process or the planning process look like for businesses in our neighborhood or in our community that are desired? You know, no offense to a dispensary, but there are plenty all throughout the city, and we would much rather see other types of businesses. I can't speak for everyone, but I know having a coffee shop is really nice, or a space where community can gather, things that are a little more kid friendly, things of that nature. So what does that planning look like? Is it the solicitation is based on the property owner themselves, like the Kirov building went for sale and they received solicitations, and those establishments or organizations come before this body and request certain levels of permission, or do we do some active solicitation based on community feedback? Just so I have an understanding.
So thank you for the question. I'm going to share it's sort of all of the above in some respects. So it happens in a number of different ways. I'll give you a couple examples. There's a strip mall that's next to the McDonald's that has had several vacant properties for years. And there was a point in time when the owners had had a request from somebody to open a liquor store there. And that has to go in front of the ABCA board. And the ANC member who represented that was notified, and that full ANC was notified, and we were able to bring that to the ANC to discuss that, to say that's not what we wanted. And we voted against that as a community. And the ANC submitted a statement and attended testimony at the ABCA, well, it was ABRA at the time, hearing. And so we did not, so that liquor store did not open. The same thing is in the process with the marijuana dispensary. There's been many people within the community that have voiced concern that they do not want that marijuana dispensary. That is being represented by single member district 5A03, which is, or sorry, 5A08, which is Elaine Alston's and single member district. So she will be working with them to make sure that they are doing what they need to do, and also involving the community and holding community meetings about that. For larger projects like Yu Ying and Washington Latin, again, they had to go through a permitting process, and it depends on whether they're going through a PUD process or a BZA process. And Anthony, you're welcome to chime in on the BZA process if you'd like, since you're on the call, but since I know you know a lot about it. If they can go through a PUD process or a BZA process. Some of it depends if it's a by right property, or if it's a change in the zoning. All of those things play into whether or not it comes into the ANC. This ANC in particular is very actively involved when there is a project and likes to be. So anything that goes in my community, I always know about it, and I always make sure the residents know about it, and I always, make sure to bring it to the ANC so that we all are aware of the project. That doesn't always happen, but it is for most part. So again, it just depends on the project and the property, if that makes sense.
What I appreciate about it is the rundown of how there are different variables. Permitting is a huge part of it. I do want to also say that that's a two-part question. The second thing that we were at least informed when we met with Yu Ying the other day was that we had a chance to discuss the Washington Latin project. Is that happening this evening? Is it on the agenda, or is this the moment so that I can ask any questions at the appropriate time?
So I believe earlier there was a representative from Washington Latin on here. It's not on the agenda. We will be having that on the agenda at a future meeting because they have made a request of us that we have to have a community vote on. But is the representative from Washington Latin still on the call?
Yeah, there are actually two of us.
Okay, so Tay, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, please feel free.
Yeah, this is just from being both a Yu Ying parent and a resident on Urell Place. I'm put in this precarious situation where I'm vested in this community, whether my child attends school here or not, because of just my relationship to my 30-year mortgage, right? And whenever we're talking about bringing in an additional 1,000 people a day into a very small space that is already infrastructure, I would say, not necessarily having the infrastructure to support it. There's been a lot of conversation around parking, and then one of the commissioners said when this proposal was set forth, there was a pretty solid plan for parking, and then there's been some changes. So we see the way that Yu Ying is flowing. A lot of us weren't clear that the property it's been divided. So there's like the Yu Ying side and there's the Washington Latin side, and then what your plan is. So we know the Yu Ying plan to a degree. Those who are able to attend the meeting, those who live in the neighborhood see them operating now, and things are flowing. When we add an additional 1,000 people come the fall or whenever your building is complete, what is the plan from an infrastructure standpoint to address the congestion, the lack of parking? We haven't really heard anything from Washington Latin yet as a community, and I can't speak for everyone. If you've already started engaging, and maybe I missed the memo, but everyone I've spoken to on Urell Place hasn't heard anything yet. So we want to know, when does the community engagement begin? What is your plan around parking and infrastructure? And how are you putting measures in place to mitigate that stress and strain for those of us who may have to leave our homes to get to work and may not be able to leave our street due to the congestion within a reasonable time frame? So we just want to kind of hear from you all as far as what the plan is.
Commissioner, should I respond to that now?
Please go ahead.
Okay.
And
So
you're
first
also
off,
welcome
thank
to
you.
share that we've talked about having you come to a meeting and present to the community probably in February or March. But that and then they can do a full presentation. But please go ahead and answer her question for now.
Yeah, that would be great. We're happy to present whenever we can. So I wanted to first off thank you for having us here and having this meeting, and thank Ms. Conley for raising this issue. The plan all along had been for Yu Ying to open this fall and for our property to open next fall. They opened a little bit later, but have now started their operations. And so we were a little bit by design behind their process. You can obviously see that our building is going up, but clearly not ready for occupancy. and there's renovations going on inside the existing building as well. So our plan is to open in the fall, August 20 something. I can't remember our first day. But we are also in conversation with some local businesses that have parking lots nearby to try and put parking at those locations and then run a shuttle for our faculty and staff to come to the school. So those are nascent, but they're underway. Just to allay a few concerns, when we move in the fall, we will not have anywhere near 1,000 people. We're going to be moving in with 5 grades of students. And so we'll be around maybe just a little more than half of that 1,000-person number in the building itself. So it's a gradual growth process, but it's not going to be 1,000 people in the fall all at once. I want to put some clarity around that. We also run a bus service. And so roughly a third of our students arrive by bus, which means that those students are not arriving in private cars. So the bus itself takes a moment to drop off, but it comes, it drops off, it goes. And this is a process that we have had in place at our existing campus. Folks might not know that this campus is actually going to be our second location. We have a first location at 2nd Street between Hamilton and Ingraham. And the bus process is something we've done for the whole of our existence. So we're very familiar with how to run that service and how to run it in a way that mitigates the traffic into the area by parents and private cars. I don't know how much time you want me to take or how much detail you want me to go into. I could go into a glorious amount of detail about parking and planning and traffic and all of that. And Conley, I think I reached out to you directly. So feel free to come back to me by phone, in person, by email, however that works. But let me know. I don't want to go on too long, but we're aware, we're in process. We're trying to mitigate this issue before we come in, which is what we've done in all of the properties that we've ever been in.
Thank you.
And the only thing I want to say is that when we move in, we will have a plan, but we will have to be flexible about that. We have, every time we've moved into a new property, put a plan in place and then solicited feedback from our families, from our neighbors, from anybody around, and then made modifications and been flexible about what that process looks like. And I fully expect that that's what will happen when we move into the Kirov property in the fall.
Thank you. I would like to invite you to come to, if you can, to the February meeting, if that works for you, to present about the status of your project. I'd also like, if Jose's still on the phone, which I see he is, I'd like to invite you, Ying, as well to the February meeting to present about your project, and maybe we can do that together. Does that work for you, Ying, and for Washington Latin to come?
Worked for me. Yep.
Okay.
We will, Commissioner, may I just add to, I'm the other Washington Latin representative here on the call. My name is Kate Cromwell, and I'm the Director of External Affairs. So I'm putting our communications email just as an initial point of contact for anyone who has questions before that meeting. And Martita, I don't know if you actually introduced yourself in your role. Martita, my colleague, Martita Fleming, is the Director of Operations who is really involved with the building process as well as all the kind of community engagement that she mentioned. So we're both here because we wanted to make sure that we could start the conversation. But as Martita said, it's not a once and done, and we look forward to having more dialogue with everyone. We did have some initial outreach when we were first really more in the planning process on the project. And I think, nothing like experiencing the opening of one of the buildings on that property, which is the Yu Ying building. It kind of makes it all more real, and we are ready to talk to everyone and make the plans, as Martita said. So we look forward to that.
Thank you. I do want to add one thing, and that is we are happy to have you come to our regular February meeting. but I want to make sure that the community is aware, not just for these projects, but any project in your community. There are restrictions put on the city of when construction work can actually happen from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and I believe it's the same hours on Saturday. I have to double check, but there is not supposed to be work on holidays unless they get permission. And in order to do that, they have to come to the ANC and the community and get that approved by the community. And so since there is no ANC commissioner for that ANC where those buildings are, they would have to come when there is a vacancy of an ANC commissioner, the chair by default takes responsibility for those ANCs. And so they would come to me and I would work with the community and we'd bring it to a meeting, in which case we may need to add a special meeting and we will work with the ANC commissioners to do that. In the event that they are requesting, work permit exemptions for holidays, which I believe they are. So we will have to schedule a special meeting. So just be aware of that, and we will send out a notice about that in the event that happens. Any other questions? Ty, did you get your questions answered for the most part and have a point of contact?
Yes, I did. And since we'll have a more in-depth conversation in another meeting, I appreciate the insights you guys were able to provide today, and then we can dive into logistics in another call. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it also might be helpful for the group from Washington Latin to maybe schedule a community meeting for the residents within that single member district and those within 200 feet in the neighboring community to maybe have a more in-depth conversation because we have limited time at the ANC meetings. And I'm happy to work with you to schedule that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love that. I mean, we definitely have been wanting to do that and have, I think, been thinking we want to get just a little bit further along so that we know what that process could look like. But absolutely, we want to talk to individuals, to the community group, and also, of course, to the ANC through this meeting. So we will do all those things and keep this group informed of all of them.
Thank you. Commissioner Washington, you've had your hand up for a long time, but I'm going to ask you a favor, if you don't mind. Councilmember Parker's office is represented back on the call, so if it's okay with you to hold your question, can I back up to the agenda and then come back to you?
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Oliver.
Hello. I'm
How are
sorry, I
you?
was on and off between meetings. I had to be on the ANC 5B meeting as well, but I'm happy to be here. So I'm Oliver, the Director of Constituent Services for the Ward 5 Council Office, and it's a pleasure to be here with new and returning ANCs as I look forward to working and serving you guys as well as finding the community's needs. Moving forward, I know that we've been having a lot of issues in the past couple of weeks with trash and snow removal. We've heard from many neighbors about the ongoing issues with snow removal throughout the ward, with missed trash and recycling pickups. So our office is still here to continue escalating these concerns with the relevant agencies, primarily with DPW. DPW has shared that they are working to get back on schedule following significant disruptions from last week's inclement weather, as well as the inauguration and all of those things. But if you are having any issues when it comes to like missed trash or recycling pickup, you can first file a 311 request. And after you file that 311 request, you can send it to me. I'll drop my email. And then what I will do is I will take that 311 request and then escalate it to DPW on your behalf. Moving forward with events that we have some upcoming events. One of the events that we have coming up is our Ward 5 Public Safety Call, which is a regular call where we coordinate with our district public safety apparatus, and we bring neighbors together with the relevant agencies to answer questions about public safety incidents as well as public safety efforts. These calls used to be monthly, but now they're going to be moving to a quarterly model. And our first call will be on January 29th from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Via Zoom. We will have be shared with our guest MPD Chief Pamela M. Smith, as well as the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement Director, Ms. Director Sneed, as well as Assistant Chief Altieri. This meeting will also be live streamed, so if neighbors are unable to make it for that 3 o'clock time, you will be able to see the recording on the council members' YouTube page, as well as you guys would like to reach out and bring any questions that you would like me to raise during this meeting, you can also shoot me an email and I'll try my best to make sure that we ask those questions to our safety partners as well. Moving forward, ANCs, I'm sure that you guys probably got emails from me in regards to the leadership gathering that we will be having with our ANC and Civic Association leaders. If you haven't gotten that email, please shoot me a message and I'll make sure that I give you the details on that. The date for that is February 8th, and I believe it starts at 10 and it'll be at Catholic University. We're still working on the final touches for the location as far as like what room it'll be in at Catholic. But as soon as I do get that information, I'll make sure that I send that out to you guys as well. Also, we will be having our Ward 5 award ceremony. Initially, we had this scheduled for December, but due to issues with our previous venue, we now encourage everyone to please make plans to join us for this special evening celebrating remarkable Ward 5 neighbors at the Ward 5 ceremony, February 11th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at Ivy City Smokehouse, which is 1356 Oakey Street. Also, I will drop the link to the nomination form so for the Ward 5 awards, and it will remain open only for a little bit longer. So you could take the moment to nominate a neighbor who's been doing above and beyond things for the community. Also on the legislative side, with performance oversight is coming up next week. Performance oversight, I'll be dropping the links to that, but the dates for those will be first January 29th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And this is just for the oversight agencies that are under our purview of the Committee of Youth Affairs, it starts for January 29th, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. will be the Office on African Affairs. The other one is the Office of African American Affairs. Also on February 13th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. will be Child and Family Services Agency, as well as the Office of Ombudsman for Children. And then March 6th from 9:30 to 6 p.m., the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, as well as the Office of Attorney General and Juvenile Justice related. As far as other updates, that's about it for us. What I will do is I will drop the link to a number of these events and information. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Or if there's anything that you would like to bring to my attention that are any community concerns, please feel free to ask me that as well.
Thank you, Oliver. I do want to acknowledge the Ward 5 safety meetings. I've been to many of those. They're very helpful. If you're able to attend, I encourage you to do so. Along those notes, our MPD, which is 4D, has a monthly sector meeting. That's also a good meeting to attend to talk about public safety. Oliver, I don't believe you mentioned the council members newsletter. So residents, I would also
But
encourage
yeah,
you to sign up for the council members' weekly newsletter. So Oliver,
yes.
if you can put that information in the chat.
Yep, I will also be sure to drop that as well. Please subscribe to the newsletter. It will have all this information, including more when it comes to events and things that are going on in our offices.
I believe there's one question, Dimitar.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Happy New Year, I guess. So, very quick comment and question, Oliver. There has, since DDOT changed their traffic investigation system, when was that? About 2 years ago, there hasn't been a single investigation of traffic safety in the INC 5A. So I wonder what is the reasoning for this. I mean, I have personally have 3 different requests submitted about this. I know about neighbors who have submitted several requests around North Michigan Park for investigations and potentially safety measures, but we haven't been prioritized. I wonder if the commissioner's office can do something about it. Literally over the last 2 years, there hasn't been a single one in INC 5A. Thank you.
Yeah, I can look into that. I mean, I know that DDOT goes through a prioritization model, and sometimes within that model, they prioritize, you know, what safety studies they will do, and then they move others into another process as, you know. So, I mean, I'm happy to, escalate that within our office. If you have any 311 requests or any TSIs that you do have the numbers on, you could send those off to me, and I can bring it to the attention of our deputy chief of staff, who does
Yeah,
much of the.
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, thank you very much. But I was just wondering because I have been tracking what is happening in INC 5A, and literally since when this new system was implemented 3 years ago, there hasn't been a single investigation.
Right.
I mean, I think I found this weird actually.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean, I'm happy to look into that because I didn't know that. So I'm happy to look into that myself.
Dimitar,
you.
I would also recommend you work with the ANC commissioner representing the areas where you're putting in the TSI requests, because there is a chance that a lot of times what happens, my single member district members are very good about letting me know when they put in a TSI request, and then I will follow up with DDOT, but sometimes I can see when there's 2 or 3 of the same one, and then I'll bunch them all together and work with DDOT to see what the status is on that. So I would also encourage you to work with your ANC commissioner.
I did that with the previous 2 commissioners. None of them was taking me seriously, but thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioner Alston.
Oh, Oliver, I just want you to let the council member Parker know that 5808 is very, very pleased with the work that they did during the snow. And I think that he's doing a wonderful job. And I want to applaud everybody who worked with you and the wonderful job that you're doing. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Commissioner Austin.
Thank you for the compliment, Commissioner Alston. Bill.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. As everybody knows, the speed limit in Washington, D.C. is 25 miles per hour unless otherwise posted. There's been, and recently in the last year, there's been a lot of back and forth about public safety, and especially on South Dakota Avenue between Riggs Road all the way over to Costco, with people flying, speeding along the avenue. Today, and they're trying to do this little, what they call it, diet, where they want to chop off lanes, put bicycle lanes and all this other kind of stuff to calm the traffic and whatnot on South Dakota Avenue. Today, my daughter came by to help me go to the grocery store and run some errands. And she was driving very slow because since y'all put those 7 speed light cameras out there on South Dakota Avenue, she has slowed down because she has so far over the last year or so accumulated about $500 in speeding tickets on South Dakota Avenue, because every time one of them lights hits you, it's $75. So tell the councilwoman to keep up the good work. And she mentioned to me that there were some cars, her fellow drivers along South Dakota Avenue when she was coming over here, were mad at her because she was within the speed limit because she had learned her lesson. And they were mad at her because she wasn't speeding like they wanted to do. Once they got around her, they speeded up, but they'll get their $75 fine too. But my point is, with all this discussion about traffic calming and public safety, all you got to do is enforce the speed limit on South Dakota Avenue, and everything will be hunky dory. You don't need to chop up no lanes, remove any lanes, or anything. And like I said, tell him thank you very much, and just continue ticketing those cars that are speeding on South Dakota Avenue because it works. It changed my daughter. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, any other questions or words of praise for the council member's office? All right. Oliver, you're getting off easy tonight. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to come back as promised for our community comment period to Commissioner Washington, former Commissioner Washington.
Yeah, I don't see if she's still on. Yeah, Miss Brown, how are you? I'm going to piggyback on or give some information, Commissioner Lucio, on the parking restrictions that have the 2-hour parking, and maybe what the community could get is permit only parking, which would mean no one can park on that block, but the individuals that live there, and it would be a number that each resident has been assigned, like we have in our windows for the 2-hour parking, but it's for zone parking, and signs would be up saying that it's for permit only. That seems to be the best thing that I see that works when you have in communities where there's businesses as well as where there are schools. And that way no one, teachers, parents, whoever, can't park on your block because it's designated as permit only.
I thank you for that, Miss Washington. After I paid my money for the new.
Well, that I'm sure DDOT.
I'm only joking. I'm
Yeah,
only
I got you,
joking.
but
That's
DDOT
great
could probably,
information.
it's
Thank you.
DDOT, it's DDOT that does that. So I'm
Okay.
sure that's something that could be worked out. And
Mhm.
if you're in 5A05, I'm not sure, or if you're in 5A06, then you need to ask the commissioner, because they should know how to go about that process. But if it's 5A05, Commissioner Lucio, I would suggest that's something you could help them with, because that would deter a lot of the parking on that block. In fact, all of those areas in those streets over there need to consider that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
In the
If-
absence of you having a commissioner, I'd be happy to help. Ms.
Yeah, if I may say so.
Sure, Commissioner.
Yeah, in reference to what Mr. Sandy Lawson is speaking about, I teach at Cleveland Elementary, which is down the street from Howard University. And on 9th Street is where the school is located at. And the only people can park on that block are the people who live there. But what they have is the school, there's zero parking. So what you guys done is found out how many teachers are actually teaching there, and he only gave out a certain amount of plaques for them to park. And they had the tag number, the name of the car, and they had everything on it. And they can only park here so that and after this part, that plaque is no more good. So something they may want to look at.
Commissioner Thomas, I apologize. It's very hard to hear you, Commissioner Thomas.
I will come back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Holloway, good evening. Commissioner Holloway, are you there? Okay. Well, Miss Brown, please feel free to reach out to me if you want. I will say that someone did express interest when I was attending the UU meeting and possibly running for commissioner for 5A05. So hopefully that person will follow through on that. That would be wonderful. Or if you know somebody who might be interested in taking on that role, that would also be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
Love to have
sorry.
somebody else. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Holloway, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to let Ms. Brown know that I left my information in chat and that I am the commissioner for this part of the single member district on URL, and we will be having a single member district meeting very soon to address the permits and stuff that we were talking about, because it needs to be done. So you don't have to, you can go to me because this is my single member district and I'm your neighbor right here. So we will get some type of response to this parking issues that we have. Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I did already write down all of your information. I'm not a techie, but I can certainly use this little pencil as I check out the chat. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Holloway. Also, for everyone on the call, I just put in the link to the OANC website, which has this wonderful little feature where you can find your ANC. So you can type in your address and determine who exactly is your ANC commissioner based on your address and get their contact information. That's a really handy feature. If you don't have access to the chat, it's anc.dc.gov, OANC Advisory Neighborhood Commissioners. It's pretty easy to find, but I put the link in the chat. And again, you just go to the right side of your screen. It says locate your ANC, and then you can you click on that, and then you can put in your address, and it'll tell you who your commissioner is based on your address. I also want to just acknowledge that Oliver from Councilmember Parker's office put a comment in the chat saying you can file a 311 ticket for missed trash recycling pickup if needed and share your ticket request number with him, like he said, and he can follow up. You can also work with your ANC commissioner on that as well. Okay, Kara.
Hi, I have a quick question. Who was the last person that spoke, and did he mention he's the ANC commissioner for 05?
That is Commissioner Holloway. Yes. He's not for ANC 5A05. He's ANC 5A06.
Got it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
5A05 is currently vacant, and so in absence of vacancy, then the chair fills in.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, commissioners, we will be in touch about potentially scheduling a special meeting, and also an executive meeting to go over some issues. So please be on the lookout for those emails. And Councilmember Parker's office, Oliver, just put in about the safety meeting at the end of the month next week. If anybody's interested in attending that, that's on the, it's in the chat right now. Okay, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Anything else from any of the commissioners? Anyone else of the residents?
Can you just leave it open for a minute for people to note
Yep.
the comments?
Yep, I will do that. I do need a motion to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you. Our next meeting is February 26th. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And opposed? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Great meeting.
Thank you.